Usually when high-profile politicians or world leaders visit prestigious universities, they're publicly celebrated, revered, and promoted to faculty, students, and the community. After all, it gives colleges mad cred and loot to host such influential establishment figures. But apparently not Yale. See, this uber-elite university is bringing Henry Kissinger in for a lecture soon, but shh, don't tell anyone about it. The faculty has been ordered to respect the confidentiality of Kissinger's speech and be tight-lipped about his talk on campus. According to Salon, the associate director of Yale's Jackson Institute for Global Affairs, Larissa Statara, sent out an email to the organization's listserv stating, "Dr. Kissinger's visit to campus will not be publicized, so we appreciate your confidentiality with respect to this exciting opportunity." Yay! Isn't it so exciting to usher in and fawn over a known war criminal? According to Satara's email, the lecture is invite-only, and all students are expected to remain in their seats for the entire duration of the event. Yikes. Treating the privileged few who are lucky enough to be invited like cattle once they are actually granted access. Because apparently Kissinger is an untouchable god. And you know what? Considering how he's never been held accountable for all the blood on his hands, I don't blame him for feeling that way. See, let's take it back. Kissinger served as National Security Advisor and Secretary of State under Presidents Nixon and Ford. And while serving in the administrations, he flagrantly violated U.S. law time and time again in Laos, Bangladesh, Cyprus, East Timor, and Chile. In a Media Roots article titled "Why Henry Kissinger Should Be Tried at The Hague," author Andy Piaskik talks about how Kissinger was one of the chief architects of the U.S.-backed coup in Chile. See, in 1973, the CIA generously supported the overthrow of Chile's democratically elected government of Salvador Allende. And what followed was 16 years of oppression, torture, and death under the fascist regime of Augusto Pinochet, along with a steady flow of resources and profits to multinational corporations. Furthermore, during Nixon's presidency, it was Kissinger who oversaw legal bombing campaigns that slaughtered millions of Indo-Chinese civilians across Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. This number doesn't even take into account the countless thousands more that have died in the years since from exposure to the toxic chemical Agent Orange, sprayed all over the landscape in Kissinger's scorched earth policy. According to the UN, tens of thousands more civilians have also died as a result of the unexploded U.S. bombs that still litter the countryside after the war, with just as many left maimed. Ironically, in 1973, Kissinger wasn't just overseeing death and destruction, he was also winning peace prizes. Yes, Kissinger actually won a Nobel Peace Prize for helping bring the Vietnam War to a close. Amazing. But during the end of his time in office, Kissinger and Ford helped Indonesian dictator Suharto invade East Timor with weapons furnished in the U.S. Same man who had facilitated a year-long reign of terror resulting in 1.5 million people dead, according to Amnesty International. According to Piaskik, again, the guiding principle of empire, one that Kissinger and his kind accept as naturally as breathing, is that independence cannot be allowed. In fact, Kissinger has such contempt for the average lowly serf that he was even quoted as once saying in Woodward and Bernstein's book, The Final Days, as calling military men sent to fight in all the wars he plotted in the comfort of his own throne, quote, dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns for foreign policy. Wow. Why don't you tell us how you really feel? So, what has Kissinger been up to lately besides hiding out at Yale? Well, after leaving his coveted position at the White House, he went on to found Kissinger and Associates, an international consulting firm that represents the world's biggest multinational corporations, including many with ties to U.S. foreign policy. And although his client list is not officially disclosed, it's rumored to include such gems as Arco, American Express, and ExxonMobil. Kissinger also never really went away. He's been lurking behind the scenes in D.C. ever since he officially served. And given his insane criminality, along with his known disregard for human life or accountability, what better person to appoint to investigate the 9/11 attacks? Yes, few people know that Kissinger was actually first picked by George W. Bush to lead the 9/11 Commission until the Jersey widows forced him off. But he continued to consult Bush and his cronies on the Iraq War for years to come. And now, he somehow remains a relevant figure to this day, parading around talk shows, think tanks, and even prestigious universities to reassert American exceptionalism and imperialism, no matter what the pesky costs. So in case you're wondering why Kissinger's Yale visit is so hush-hush, maybe it's because if the student and faculty bodies knew that a sadistic megalomaniac was gracing their campus, they would probably run him out of town. Because until Kissinger's tried at The Hague and spends the rest of his life rotting away behind bars, he deserves nothing less.